just some practical things. If you have a cell phone, I encourage you to turn it to mute. You don't have to turn it off because you may be taking pictures or videos or whatever, that's fine. But just turn the ringer to mute, or I have mine on Do Not Disturb, so that we won't get a phone call coming in the middle of some of our music.
Sorry, I'm going to sit over here.
Some of that music you heard playing just a few seconds ago was that instrumental song. It's called Love is a Message. It was one of Sandy's favorite songs. My name is Chuck Johnson. I'm the hospice chaplain of the Manchester VNA of Manchester and Southern New Hampshire. And we had the privilege and opportunity to support Roger and Alan and the family, and especially Sandra as she approached the end of her life. And it's a privilege and an honor for us to be able to help people at that stage of life. It's significant, and we're glad to be a part of that. And I'm also honored to be able to be here with you to celebrate Sandy's life on her birthday. At some point we can sing happy birthday for her, and someone else will start that, otherwise it'll sound really bad. I'd like to explain a little bit about how our service is going to go, how this celebration is going to work out. Can everybody hear me okay? First, we're going to listen to, during the service, we'll listen to some of Sandy's favorite songs. We've added a couple more that we'll interject. You won't have them in your handouts, but they'll be in the service as well. We're going to talk a little bit about Sandy's life, maybe remind you of some of the things, stir up some of your memories and reflections and stuff, if you haven't already been warmed by the many pictures and things that are around on display. And then we'll give you folks a chance to share some of your connection, some of your experiences of Sandy's love in your life, how she impacted you, or how you contributed to some of the things that she was able to do and you impacted her life as well. We'll also commend Sandy to God and invite God's presence to be here with us today. Then we're going to transition into a time of fellowship. More eating, more food. We have a lot of food, so don't fill up on the appetizers because there's a lot more coming. And all these elements are helping us celebrate the life, the person of our beloved Sandra Hicks. I'd like to invite Diane to come forward, Diane Richards to come forward and lead us in a prayer. It's also in your handout.
I think everyone will hear me fine.
No.
Really?
Sometimes it's hard to hold the paper and the mic.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Verily thy servant, humble before the majesty of thy divine supremacy, lowly at the door of thy oneness, have believed in thee and in thy verses, have testified to thy word, have been enkindled with the fire of thy love, have been immersed in the depths of the ocean of thy knowledge, hath been attracted by thy breezes, hath relied upon thee, hath turned his face to thee, hath offered supplications to thee, and hath been assured of thy pardon and forgiveness. Hath abandoned this mortal life, and hath flown to the kingdom of immortality, yearning for the favor of meeting thee. O Lord, glorify his station. Shelter him under the pavilion of thy supreme mercy. Cause him to enter thy glorious paradise and perpetuate his existence in thine exalted rose garden, that he may plunge into the sea of light in the world of mysteries. Verily, thou art the generous, the powerful, the forgiver, and the bestower.
We're going to play another song for you. The lyrics are in your handouts as well. This is Try a Little Tenderness.
Oh, she may be weary. Young girls, they do get weary. Wearing that plain old shaggy dress. But when she gets weary, find a little tenderness. You know she's waiting. Yes, and just waiting for things that she never forget. Wow, she's there waiting without them. Try a little tenderness. It's not just sentimental, no. She had her grief and care, yeah. But the song words, they all spoke so gentle, yeah. It makes it easier to bear. You won't be ready for no. Some girls ain't gonna forget it. But it's all so easy. You gotta do is try.
You see her kind of swaying to that? I don't know. I didn't see many people swaying or tapping, but I had a hard time to keep from trying to dance, and that's a good thing. You wouldn't have liked that. I'd like to invite Alan to come forward and share a few words about his mom.
need help, would you hold in the mic, because I read. Yes, is that good here, folks? Yeah, thumb up, good. First I want to thank everybody for coming to celebrate my mom's life, and for everybody who has known her and been touched by her. I know she was very clear always with me that she wanted, when she left this earth, to have a celebration of her life, not have any mopiness or funeral, that kind of thing. And so I appreciate everybody kind of honoring that, coming out and celebrating her life. And to that event, I think I'll read my little prepared statement. It's difficult for me to find words to describe my mom, so I'll use what others have said about her. Labeled an activist, organizing, facilitator, Sandy believes service to her fellow being is service to God and as a prayer. Aware of her many blessings from God, she hopes to share with others hope, peace, confidence, and love. God's grace is humbling. Others have said, you always see the positive. Sandy is an inspiration to us all. My life has been blessed by knowing that Sandy gives the voice to the unheard. Sandy is my personal hero. You've been one of God's messengers by demonstrating love without hate, malice, or selfishness. You are a wonderful woman who never said an unkind word, even when she let you know that your actions were not the best. I know. I have personal experience with that. One of the greatest lessons my mom taught me was that everyone, black, white, rich, poor, gay, straight, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, atheist, Democrat, Republican, everyone is made in God's image and needs to be treated as such. Over 200 years ago, Thomas Jefferson wrote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." He wrote this while claiming black men and women as property. In today's political environment, it is more important than ever to, as Barack Obama said in his inauguration, continue the never-ending journey to bridge the meaning of those words with the realism of our time. For history tells us that while these truths may be self-evident, they're never been self-executing. That's why the freedom is a gift of God. It must be secured by his people here on earth. My mom took that responsibility very seriously. And even though she's no longer able to fight in body for the rights of the poor, the widow, the outcast, and the other, her spirit can continue to fight if everyone who ever knew her, loved her, worked with her, or just admired her story does what they can to continue her work. She earned the first Martin Luther King Jr. Award in 1987, and I believe because she embodied his words like, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. The time is always right to do right, and everybody can be great because everyone can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subjects and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love." My mom taught me about the soul and gave me a spiritual foundation that helps me cope with her loss. As my cousin Vicky put it, "I know your spirit will live in my heart, mind, and soul forever because you are now going to live forever in a better place." Sorry. What do I say? Yeah. All right.
It's natural for us to apologize for something that doesn't need to be apologized for. Just bear with them. It's all right.
Yeah, I do believe the body is temporary. The soul is eternal. and I expect to see my mom again. And I hope when I do, I can give her a positive report on how I've taken her lessons to heart. Thank you for your time. Oh, and there's one other thing I wanted to share. A prayer that came again from my cousin Vicky. It's Apache prayer. It says, looking behind, I am filled with gratitude. Looking forward, I am filled with vision. Looking upwards, I am filled with strength. And looking within, I discover peace. I believe this kind of sums up a prayer that I have for myself and for others as we remember my mom. Thank you all.
And as much as we want this to be a celebration and it's Sandy's birthday and stuff, if you shed a few tears and get a little choked up, that's indicative of the power of the love and the emotion that's packed into this person that we're reflecting, and it's still, you can't help but let it kind of bubble through you, and it's okay. So if you can fight back the tears if you want, but I encourage you to just let them roll and just understand it. Not all tears are bad. I mean, we cry at weddings, but not all weddings are bad. I'd like to share a few more words about Sandy again, to just kind of prick your memories and to highlight things that you know very, very well. Why? Because they've worked their way into your soul, into your heart. I was chatting with, there's two chaplains, myself and my colleague that work in our hospice, and I was telling her as I was getting ready to come to the service, she knew we were having this, and Alan and I have been doing things about this service for several weeks, and I said I'm really looking forward to it because in one sense it was really easy to do because my soul, my spirit resonates with hers because we connect to the same God. And so as I read and learned things about her life, I spoke to Alan and different things that people contributed and sent me and stuff like that, I went, I feel like I've known her. And there's the typical saying, the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. It's always true. It's always true. And so sometimes when I met Sandy, she was already unresponsive in a hospital bed in her home. And so I introduced myself, and then Alan and I spoke and we visited, and I said goodbye when I left. So I'm sure she heard me, but I didn't get a chance to get to know her aside from that immediate connection that my spirit bearing witness to hers and hers to mine. But then through people's communications, through all this stuff up here and stuff, it makes it easy because I can't get into all that. We'd be here for a lot longer and you wouldn't have a chance to share. There's too many accolades. They're too numerous. Her selfless achievements, from volunteerism to volunteering, from activism and advocacy, advancing social justice and human rights, community education and community service. So many activities which pale in comparison to her achievements in raising her family with Wade, raising her children, her kids, Roger, Alan, Aaron, and Beth. And yes, I choose not to differentiate between natural birth and adopted family. I don't really think love distinguishes between those things. And a lot more people become part of our families than by blood. Case in point.
Right here.
Yeah. Everyone here, and even those people that couldn't get here, are part of our family. Look around you at the pictures, the rewards of loving life. You need only look within to see the reflection of Sandy's love in action touching your lives, still echoing there like a pebble dropped in a calm pool. Love is a verb, especially when it's rooted and grounded, anchored and originating in a real, deep, abiding love and connection to the divine. From God loving Sandy to Sandy loving God, responding to that inexpressible reality that transcends words, transcends art, transcends culture, race, that transcends color and creed. Love in action that moves us to be and do what only we each uniquely can do. Sandy, our goal isn't to mimic her. Our goal is to follow her example. And what was that? To be true to herself and true to God, true to those things that he was directing, that he was inspiring her to do. And when we do that, we'll continue to impact people's lives. Sandy responded to love. Love and her actions. Her love in action. It was love that guided and directed her to do so much. Sandy was always pursuing to learn more, to increase her education, whether at Boston University or Notre Dame College, here locally, or across the country in California. Sandy's love and action moved her to learn all that she could, and God directed her to do that so that she would be equipped to do those things that he knew that she wanted her to be able to do further down the road. Love empowers us to do more than we can imagine. Love enabled Sandy to work multiple jobs while volunteering and parenting and being a caring wife. Love is a verb. Changing, reviving, recharging, imbuing us. Sandy shared her love with all of us, teaching and inspiring directly and indirectly, impacting leaders and legislators, mothers and fathers, impoverished, underrepresented, or affluent. And we benefited, the ripples still touching more lives. We're like children being encouraged by this maternal figure, encouraged to live up to our potential, and then some, to do more than we can imagine. Sandy demonstrated that love is a verb. I'd like to invite Roger to come forward. He's going to read a poem that you have. It's called Children Learn What They Live.
Thank you for coming out. Put my glasses on. Children learn what they live. If children live with criticism, they learn to condemn. If children live with hostility, they learn to fight. If children live with fear, they learn to be apprehensive. If children live with pity, they learn to feel sorry for themselves. If children live with ridicule, they learn to be shy. If children live with jealousy, they learn to be envious. If children live with shame, they learn to feel guilt. If children live with encouragement, they learn confidence. If children live with tolerance, they learn patience. If children live with praise, they learn appreciation. They learn to love. If children live with approval, then they learn to like themselves. If children live with recognition, they learn it is good to have goals. If children live with sharing, they learn to be generous. If children live with honesty, they learn truthfulness. If children live with fairness, they learn justice. If children live with kindness and consideration, they learn respect. If children live with security, they learn how to have faith in themselves and in those about them. If children live with friendliness, they learn the world is a place in which to live. If children live with the knowledge of salvation, they learn God will is blessed. God gives us each of these gifts of love, of life, to cherish from our birth. He gives us friends and those we love. To share our days on earth, He watches us with loving care and takes us by the hand. He blesses us with countless joys and guides the lives we plan. Then, when our work is done on this earth, He calls us to His side. To live with Him in happiness, where peace and love is abide. May you find comfort through each loving memory and peace through your faith and love of God. Thank you. Hi, I'm Sandra Hicks' son, Roger. She was my best friend. And a mother and a son's relationship as being the oldest is different. My mother was amazing on so many aspects. We moved to Manchester in 1966 where there weren't a lot of African Americans here. We lived in the area in the North End, and our best friends are in the back. You know, I've known them since the 60s. That's how long. Stephen LeClaire, Mr. LeClaire, Mrs. LeClaire. That's how long. We used to babysit Stephen. He used to come to Mission Hill Projects with us on Wednesday in the white car. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah, we were in there.
You know, I look around the room at the love that's in this room. I have family members from Boston. I have my ex-daughter's mom, grandmother. That's a whole other story. I remember we used to have the old roller skating rink here in Manchester, right? 1980. I just come back from living with my uncle in that summer, and so I go roller skating. I met this beautiful black woman. She was so cute, tall. Take her home. Mom, I found this really nice girl. It's like 2 in the morning because we had been sitting around just talking. Rod, did you talk to her mother yet? No. Bring her upstairs, call her mother. We called Mrs. Williams. And my daughter is now 37 years old. I look at some of these other people around the room. My nephew, Junior. I've known him since he was a little boy. Caring son. I look at, you know, all the people here. Jessica, Isabel, her daughter, my other family members. I look at my families from Maryland. I look at his other extended family, my brother David, my brother, my Aunt Paul, my Aunt Betty. Aunt Betty. Auntie D. I look at my sister that came all the way from Washington to show love. She was here when Mom was passing. She was here when Mom passed, and now she's back here from Washington to come show love. The one thing I learned from my mother is unconditional love. And if you look at the awards and the ceremonies and the things that she does in the pictures, the one thing I can honestly say about Sandra Toriana Hicks is she was pure love. Unconditional acceptance. And I'm never going to be right again. But she's in a better place. And this is a celebration of her life and the love that she has shown to all of the people, from the LeClairs to the Hickses to the Lees, to everybody that she touched. She had the ability to touch your soul with something as small as a smile. I love you, Mom. Thank you.
So I mentioned that part of that, the reason for talking a little bit about Sandy's life was to scratch your memories, to give you a chance to reflect on her touch, the ripples that affected your life. And I'd like us to open it up now to a time of sharing. It can be things from the past, it could be things you're looking forward to in the future, it could be ways in which Sandy impacted your life or you contributed to her life. And for some of you, I want to encourage you, as Alan said in his sharing, you know, he's hoping to, when he sees his mom again, to be able to give her a report. And that's true. The other side of that is she's also going to be just giving him some feedback too. Because our loved ones stay connected to us, and I believe that they are able to do things to impress upon our hearts and minds that they're thinking about us, they're present with us, and they'll remind us in unique and wonderful ways of who they are and how we can continue to live our lives in significance and love, following the things that they've imparted to us. So who would like to share a word, a story? I'll bring the mic over to you, and then we can kind of make it go quickly.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank everybody for coming out to show love to my Aunt Sandy. I'm her youngest brother's son, Ali, and growing up, I have time and memories here in Manchester. I was driving in, and it's been years since I've been here, so I was explaining to my family that a lot of stuff didn't stick because I was younger. I was just trying to keep up with this guy here and this guy here, and hold my own on that bike and not get lost. And the trees seemed super big, and being a city kid, the air was a little crisper. And so it's great to be back. So for the tribe, and I spent a lot of time talking to my aunt. We spent a lot of time talking while she was here. And so she would download a lot of information to me. And what I want to do today is kind of share the last memory of her, just to speak to her spirit and her tenacity for life. She came to our last cookout this past summer, and she got there a little late. So checking in, there was some things, I think Alan was moving somebody, so he was a little bit behind schedule, but our cookouts, anybody that knows us, our cookouts go till whenever. So she finally gets there, and I'm talking to her on the phone. She said, I think we're gonna get there. I'm starving myself. And so when I get there, I'm gonna be ready to eat. So Alan gets her there, the sun has set. But we start getting her plate together. So me and Alan are sitting at the table, and we're going, all right, what's going on? What do we put on the plate? He goes, wait a minute, we need to wait a minute, because she can't eat everything. So let's start her off with a little bit of this. So we load her plate up, and she engulfed every little bit of food, and then threw the plate, threw the fork, something, said, all right, where's my second plate? Make sure you put some of them greens back there. Everybody that knows my wife knows the greens, they come far and near for her greens. So it was great to have that final time to fellowship with her. At that time, my mother, who now lives in Maryland, they hadn't seen each other in over 40 years. And anybody that knows my aunt, and I'm sure everybody raise a hand if you received a birthday card, a Christmas card, a phone call. She was a great connector. And so the last thing I want to do is for the family members, the younger family members, the next generation, what I would say, out of all the lessons I've learned from my aunt, is her ability to stay connected to us. Let us continue on with that message. Let us continue on with that action. Let's continue to stay connected. Even though she's not here to make sure those cards get out, we can make a phone call. We can say hello. We can check in on each other and make sure that we're doing all right. So I want to thank everybody once again for the support that you showed my cousins, my aunt while she was here. and I know she loved each and every one of you guys, and thank you guys.
Someone else?
Chuck, I'm gonna do the. Hi, right now I'm not gonna stand, but I'm standing here. I have a letter that was written by a friend of hers that's currently in Las Vegas. She couldn't make it and wanted to make it. She's suffering from her own illness at the time. Basically what this says is, hi Sandy, I'm writing this to you and she was asking somebody to read it. People always say, you have to excuse me, it's hard to read because it was written on a phone. When a loved one passes, I wish I had touched them, how I felt about them, and how I have the opportunity, excuse me, my spelling, you have taught me so much through your actions in life. You taught me strength, perseverance, love, and hope, and so much more. You have so much courage and compassion and love for others. You could not help but pass it on, even if you didn't know it. Even though we didn't sometimes talk to each other for long periods of time, you were and always will be in my heart. I speak of you to so many of my friends about your bravery and your deeds of love to others. There was so much more I would have loved to say, but words escape me now, and because I am so much filled with so much bittersweet emotions. Go with God, Sandy. He has made peace for you there. That was written by a woman named Judy Benjamin. Her son, unfortunately, was a victim of HIV and AIDS. And my aunt, as you know, was a very strong advocate for that. And because Judy's son suffered through that, my aunt did help Judy to go through that experience, and she wasn't alone. So for that, I thank Judy, and for that, I thank my aunt, because that was very meaningful.
Hi. Hang on. Hi. My name's David Oliveris. I have the pleasure of calling Mrs. Hicks, Sandy, moms. She was a mother to all of us, I believe. She was close friends with my mother, who always worked for peace and justice and the community. It is one of those things that we have that rare privilege of getting to know somebody so special who was, embodies the unconditional love for one another. She was an encourager, always encouraging her for our ideas. Even if they're far-fetched, she would still encourage you, because at least if you tried, it was better to have tried and failed than never to have tried at all. So that was her. I was very fortunate to be blessed to drive her to wherever she needed to go, whether it be kidney dialysis or hospitals or even an occasional restaurant or whatever. And she did like to eat. So when she did enjoy her food, you could see that smile. One of the best memories and pictures that I had was her taking her out for Mother's Day, taking her picture, and she was just with the biggest smile. It's like, I'm going to eat whatever I want to eat. I'm going to enjoy it, And it's that sense of community that I think that, that Al and I had talked about, that this is exactly how she would have wanted, to work as a community. And for us to be encouraged to serve the community that we live in. That's all about, it's service to others. And so that's something that I take away from what she taught me and taught others. And so I encourage you, to take the time to help one another. If you see somebody in need, be there, help them out. That's what she would do. A great communicator. I was there for her last days of life, and she was always praying for all of you, no matter where you were. Even though she was not doing well and she was sick and she was dying, she would pray for each and every one of you. And I strongly believe that on the other side, she is still praying for us and still looking out after us. So, thank you.
Let me explain that we will have a chance of sharing and chatting and, more fellowship when we eat in a little bit. So not everybody's going to get a chance to share, but we will have a couple more.
I just wanted to say about pictures and photographs, and I'm so grateful they're here. And like 100 years ago, they probably didn't exist at all. There's a picture of me over there on that table with Sandy, and we're at a restaurant. She took a picture of me with a friend that ended up being my wife, and she passed away 2 years ago. And this is really hard for me, but Sandy understood that I couldn't be there for her because I'm dealing with my own stuff. And I'm just so grateful that I'm part of her family. And I first met Roger, and I'm going to tease you a little bit, if you don't mind. I first met Roger, like I'm sure I met him before, but you don't really get in there. When she moved from Low Street to where she lived. And he was talking to himself, I thought. It was back in the day when cell phones first started, and he was like a techno head then. And he had that little piece in his ear that he could talk, and people could hear him, and I thought he was talking to himself. Turns out he was talking on the phone. He was one of the first people I ever knew that could talk without having a phone. So I was like, oh, he's not crazy, he's like techno. He's got a phone. So that was when I first met Roger, and that was when we moved up, had a big blue truck, and I don't know how many trips we took, but I'm very grateful that I got to meet everyone here, and I'm very appreciative. And if it's with everybody's permission, I want to talk politics. I just want to say it's this year is 100 years since women got the right to vote. See, this was going on. That's what you were talking about. So, and she was an activist, So I don't think I just think it would be really interesting that Sandra is like 100 years ago when we got the right to vote, and that's just like a little good memory for me. And I also appreciate Shirley Chisholm, and I'm just like, I want to put that out there. Sandra helped educate me a lot on the heart of politics, not all the bad stuff, but like the activism and the working through what you're given, the tools, this is a game we gotta play it, but you play it from the heart. So, I'm just so grateful for everything, and I know I'm gonna miss her awfully because, and this is like the psychic level thing, there was so many times where I'd be thinking about her, and she would call me, or I would call her, and she was like, yeah, I was just gonna call you, and that happened between us all the time, like all the time. So, I just felt like a really deep connection with her, and I know I'm talking about it. There's two other things I want to say. One is, I was listening to this music I got out of the library. I don't even remember who the artist is. And one of the lines was something to the effect of, when I die, I don't want to rest in peace, I want to dance. And it just made me think of Sandy. And I was thinking, she probably needed to rest. But I think rest time's over, and she is strutting her stuff and enjoying and dancing, and I'm right with her in that. So I just thank you for letting me blab on and on.
Thank you for sharing.
What's up, y'all? Can we get applause? Can we stand up? Yeah, y'all gotta stand up. Come on now. Hallelujah. We're celebrating. Y'all sitting around. Church. We're celebrating somebody that has not just impacted your lives, the state of New Hampshire. She moved the state. And that was when women weren't thought to be anything other than in the kitchen. She showed otherwise. So I applaud all you women. Secondly, she was my mentor. My mentor, not y'all. I could call her 2 in the morning. Mom, it ain't working out. Well, what you do now, baby? I don't want to talk about it. Well, come see me. I'll be there. All right? I'm going to let you know something. They say R.I.P. Rest in paradise. Let me tell you something. That woman knew me before I knew me. I remember coming to Manchester from Boston, kid from the projects, running down the Space Center on Elm Street, running behind Roger. Me, and the person she said, Bruce,
Oh, man.
that was my baby cousin. The woman she said, Judy, that was my aunt. That's my connection. And I wear it well. See, because I met Sandy at a point in my life when I was successful. Everything was going my way. And then I got sick, took that fall. But I'm back on my wheel. You know that wheel of life? Because we all a hamster in some way. My point being, we should not be celebrating people that have gone through all the things and struggles when they're dead. We should be celebrating them now. So as you look, family, friends, hug them, love them, cherish them. And I want to give a shout out to my man Chill Bill Walker. I want to give a shout out to Isabel. I want to give a shout out to Paula. Those are all people that are here that I can see, because I am blind. Mom was blind since 1975. Y'all didn't know that. And who did this? Who's that? Who's that? That's Mom. Going to the bus stop. Because she said, I got to go somewhere, baby. Where you going? Well, I got the Scholarship Foundation. Well, how come nobody come and get you? I don't need a ride. Okay. Well, who's coming to get you next week? Isabella. That was her girl, Isabella. Is Jasmine here? Jasmine. New Hampshire Minority Health Coalition. That's something that Ma founded. Y'all didn't know that though, right? You know it? You know it now. You know it now. I challenge you all when you go home, and I'm gonna shut up after that. I challenge you all when you go home to open up that the program and read that list and understand the power and the magnitude. And what is this, the Granite State? She pushed it. With a spirit, an indomitable spirit. We ain't gonna see it again. They don't make that model. It's obsolete. I think there's one more Reverend Bertha Perkins that's like that. It's obsolete. So therefore, what I'm saying, you sisters, and when I say sisters, I mean all of us, black, white, purple, yellow, polka dot, it don't matter. The struggle's just begun. 2020 is real. You either step up to the plate and continue the work that she started, because we're all on her shoulders, or you step to the side and let the people that really want to do the work get the work done. Because it has to continue. There's too much out there. And I'm going to stop soon. We got a drug problem in Manchester. We got homelessness. Our kids are being miseducated. You can see it by the way they act. They're angry. As adults, we got to do better. And I challenge you. And I'm sure Sandy in her way, well, Mike, you said enough. But you know what, y'all? I love you too unconditionally. She taught me resilience. I'm standing in front of you, blind, crippled, halfway crazy with a catheter in me, but I'm still here. I'm still here because of her. All right? Love, peace, and chicken grease, y'all.
Let me encourage you to continue to share in a few minutes while we wrap things up. But it is in a few minutes. I'm going to play another song for you. The lyrics are in your handout as well. All right, look to see where I left my phone. on Do Not Disturb. All right. All right. I'll tell you what, we'll invite Martha to come up, and she's going to read for us a poem called I Am a Woman. I'm going to hold the mic so I can look for my phone.
Hi again.
Hi. Don't drop the mic.
I Am Woman by Ruth Keller. I am woman here on planet Earth. I have the breath of life in me, the gift given at birth. No one, nobody, no powers that be can ever, ever take this gift away from me. I am woman here on planet Earth. I have a song to sing in me, a song sung birth to birth. No one, nobody, no powers that be could ever take that song away from me. I am woman here on planet Earth. Flesh, bones, and blood is me, before and after birth. No one, nobody, no powers that be can ever, ever take away from me. I am woman here on planet Earth. I have the will to live in me. I learned that at my birth. No one, nobody, no powers that be can ever, ever take my will away from me. I am woman here on planet Earth. I have the breath of life in me, a gift given at birth. No one, nobody, no powers that be can ever, ever take this gift away from me. No one, nobody, no powers that be can ever, ever take my life away from me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That is the phone in the program there, under yours.
Well, it's around here. Anybody see an iPhone? It's black. How simple, it's black with a simple black case, and
Call it. Somebody said call it.
you can't because it's on Do Not Disturb.
Oh, well, you messed up.
Let it vibrate.
Call Tyrone.
Everybody's phone's here?
Yeah, you can't leave the door until we check your phone.
All right. We'll find it.
We got a metal detector.
All right. I'd like to invite Jonathan Ring to come forward, and he's going to read to us about leaven in the soul. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about that legacy of Sandy's life.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's so wonderful to see so many family friends here to help Sandra as she is whisked on to the other worlds of God, whatever those look like. I met Sandy about 35 years ago at a Baha'i Race Unity event, probably over in Bedford, New Hampshire. And I'm the assistant secretary of the NAACP branch of the Seacoast. So I bring you the love of all the Seacoast freedom fighters. And Sandy was one of the most amazing freedom fighters I ever met. She deserved all these awards. She's just an amazing, wonderful person. And a woman, obviously. She's just a wonderful woman, absolutely. Leaven and the state of the soul. The life of the soul, the life of the individual begins at conception, when the soul associates itself with the embryo. When death occurs, the body returns to the world of dust, while the soul continues to progress in the spiritual worlds of God. To consider that, after the death of the body, the spirit perishes, Abdu'l Baha, who is one of the Baha'is, has said, is like imagining that a bird in a cage will be destroyed if the cage is broken. though the bird has nothing to fear from the destruction of the cage. Our body is like the cage, and the spirit is like the bird. If the cage becomes broken, the bird will continue and exist. Its feelings will be even more powerful, its perceptions greater, and its happiness increased. After its association with the body draws to a close, the soul will continue to progress in an eternal journey towards perfection. Sandy didn't have far to go. Baha'u'llah, who's the prophet founder for the Baha'i faith, Baha'u'llah wrote, "It, the soul, will manifest the signs of God and his attributes, and will reveal his loving kindness and bounty. An illumined soul continues to have an influence on progress in this world and the advancement of its peoples. It acts as the leaven that leaveneth the world of being, and furnisheth the power through which the arts and wonders of the world are made manifest. The world beyond," writes Baha'u'llah, "is as different from this world as this world is different from that of the child while still in the womb of its mother. Just as the womb provides the environment for a person's initial physical development, growing fingers, all those things, the phenomenal or physical world is the arena within which we develop the spiritual characteristics and capacities that we need for our onward journey. Both here and in the next life, we advance with the assistance of God's bounty and grace. Also important to the progress of our souls in the next world are the good deeds carried out in our names here on earth, and the sincere prayers of our families and friends. Seen in this light, death is not to be feared. Baha'u'llah refers to death as the messenger of joy. He states, "Thou art my dominion, and my dominion perisheth not. Wherefore fearest thou thy perishing? Thou art my light, and my light shall never be extinguished. Why dost thou dread extinction? Thou art my glory, and my glory fadeth not. Thou art my robe, and my robe shall never be outworn."
When we talk about a person's legacy and when we gather to celebrate someone's life, it's easy to reflect on how their life has impacted us, how it's changed us. How I said at the start, we've become who we are because of, in this case, Sandra's touch, her involvement, her love demonstrated for us. And we have all sorts of other people that have contributed in our lives as well. And that's the leaven. The love of Sandra's life is a leaven in us that inspires that, to cause it to rise, to causes us to become bigger and more than we could have been if she had never touched us. And that leaven is what, as we've heard in our sharing, we need to keep that warm. We need to foster that, help that grow. And then each of us has our own place, our own thought, our own part in life that we're inspired, that we're motivated and encouraged to do. We don't need to be Sandy. We need to be who we are. Just like Sandy, she wasn't pretending to try and be someone. She was rising to the occasion, and she didn't know the ramifications and the repercussions of her actions. She just knew that that's what she needed to do at that moment, and we'll see how things play out. And it kept on playing out, and it kept on playing out. The same is true for our lives. As we yield our lives to that love influence of the divine, to those people that are inspired, that bring that kind of love that engages, that verb, that moves us. That love that's a noun that gives us an anchor, something to hold on to let it fill us, to taste, to let it encourage and strengthen us. When we connect to those, we'll be able to do those things that we're intended to do. And we may not be able to see where that's going to go. All we need to know is that this is what I need to do today, and take those steps, just like each of you took steps to come here and be here today. That's Sandy's legacy, that leaven with love that love that will continue to inspire. But it doesn't just happen. You need to touch that mound, touch that love, and let it engage and inspire you in action. I'd like to invite Beth to come forward, and she's going to share with us kind of a prayer of commendation that's also in your handout.
It is just an honor to be here today with all the friends and family so that we can all look at one another and understand how much she touched our lives. And I was just reflecting upon the benefit of being her daughter and how she's touched my lives over 30 years. And the theme about parenting is that I've always heard, it doesn't matter how you parent your kid, just be consistent. Just be consistent. They need consistency. And Mama was always consistent with being loving and kind and firm and demonstrating that you can fall down, get up, and do what needs to be done. And that she loved us. She loved me. She loved Roger and Alan. And obviously she loved all of us here. And the thing that we always ended our phone calls with is that she would say, all right, now, just wrap your arms around you.
Yep.
Just know that I'm hugging you and loving you.
Giving you hugs.
Giving you hugs. That was it. Giving you hugs.
Amen.
And, that got me through so much in my life. And so, with your permission, I'd like to read this prayer from Abdul Baha. O Lord, O thou whose mercy hath encompassed all, whose forgiveness is transcendent, whose bounty is sublime, whose pardon and generosity are all embracing, and the lights of whose forgiveness are diffused throughout the world. O Lord of glory, I entreat thee fervently and tearfully to cast upon thy handmaiden, who hath ascended unto thee the glances of the eye of thy mercy. Robe her in the mantle of thy grace, bright with the ornaments of the celestial paradise, and sheltering her beneath the tree of thy oneness, illumine her face with the lights of thy mercy and compassion. Bestow upon thy heavenly handmaiden, O God, the holy fragrances born of the spirit of thy forgiveness. Cause her to dwell in a blissful abode. Heal her griefs with the balm of thy reunion, and in accordance with thy will, grant her admission to thy holy paradise. Let the angels of thy loving kindness descend successively upon her and shelter her beneath thy blessed tree. Thou art verily the ever-forgiving, the most generous, the all-bountiful Abdul Baha.
We're going to play two songs now. Luckily, these we can play from a CD on the player back in the corner. They're not in our handouts, but the first is one of Sandy's favorite. It's called Don't Cry for Me. And our next song will also move and be our kind of closing benediction. Our next song is Amazing Grace.
Just look off the way the foot part. Thank you. Good.
Jesus, grace has brought
Hey, the phone was found.
Yay! Is it in the pocket?
It was in another pocket. As we get ready, and because of that, I have no idea what time it is.
2 o'clock.
So, let me close with a couple words of instruction. One, there's a bunch of food, and so it's going to be time to eat in just a second. Two, there's a bunch of pictures on this table, and some of you may have looked at them and said, oh wow, I remember this picture. Well, these are for you to take, because Alan can't bring them home with him. So he's under strict instructions and stuff. So if you see a picture, go through these pictures and stuff, and things that are important, whether it's some kind of heirloom or something that kind of reminds you of something, take it and keep it, and that can be a memento for you. So let's finish. We'll finish with one song. I'll tell you what. I'll play this. I'll play the music that we missed during the service while you guys are getting some food, and so it'll be playing in the background. But the first song that you can listen to as we get up to have some food is going to be "Lean on Me." Thank you all. Enjoy the fellowship and chatting and visiting and spend time with each other.
Happy birthday. Yeah, we want to do happy birthday.
Get ready.
I just wanted to make sure that before people eat, I wanted to make sure that we bless the meal, be thankful, because my mom is a big reminder of everything you get is a gift from God, so it's good to be reminded of that.
Happy birthday is your favorite
And
song.
the other thing is we want to start out with happy birthday, so let's do happy birthday. Move it this way.
Wait, 1 second, Alan.
Oh, wait.
Also, we found,
Oh, right.
you know that Mama always sent us cards, right?
Right.
Always sent us cards. And so there are cards that we found in the apartment next to the sign-in, the guest book. So please take a card also.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We have cards to take there, pictures here. There's also I think there's like jewelry under the table, but please take a lot. Take as much as you personally as you can, because I have gotten instructions that I can't take this back to Maryland. So those tables there, the cards there, pictures there. But, and after all that, I think we'll start with happy birthday. You gotta do happy birthday. Yeah. Gotta help. Oh. Sing her happy birthday. Say happy birthday. Hold this. 1, 2, 3. Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sandy. Happy birthday to you.
Give him the mic.
Come on, really?
So let's thank God for this food. Let's pray together. Gracious Heavenly Father, we rejoice and thank you for all that you provided us with, especially for Sandy, but in all these food items, things that you've prepared and given to us. We ask you to strengthen and nourish that to our body. We ask you to strengthen and nourish our fellowship, that we will be leavened by the love of Sandy and go forth as dynamic people, inspired by you, inspired by her love, to touch and change the lives of those people dearest to us. We thank you, praise you for all of this. Amen.
For those to take home food, and I highly encourage take home food, because I'm going back to Maryland and I'm not taking home food. So there's tray covers here for any of the potatoes.